Hi, everyone. I'm Jen Robinson, Editor-in-Chief of Peaceful Living Wellness online magazine. At Peaceful Living Wellness, one of our core values is community. We are dedicated to developing community online and on the ground. As part of this, we really honor those people and organizations that we call our local heroes. And I am really excited to bring you our first Local Heroes interview. I'd like to introduce you to Erin Jones. She is a social worker who has created an organization called SCWaves4Women. Erin, I would love for you to tell us a little bit more about your organization and, more importantly, who you are.
Yeah, thank you. So my background is clinical social work. So I've worked with children and with adults, and I've worked in a wide range of settings as a clinician, a therapist, and as like a case manager. Probably, I guess in 2015, I had been working for 7 years doing trauma therapy at the VA, and I had left there because I had 3 children under, like, I think the age of 6 or something at that point. And so, and then I met an organization called Warrior Surf Foundation. They were using surfing as a therapeutic intervention for veterans who had trauma exposure or PTSD. And I did not know how to, I had surfed, but I did not know how to surf really. So I worked as their wellness director and just kind of helped develop that program. Learned how to surf, and then
I was going to ask you, did you learn how to surf? Because it's
I
not
did.
easy.
Yes, I did. I had to learn how to surf, and I really enjoyed it. I had worked also doing some like outdoor ropes course and climbing wall and some of those adventure-based therapeutic programs as well. So I liked that piece, and I certainly thought that it was helpful in working with kids and adults from like a wide variety of like backgrounds. And so I was introduced to the surfing as a therapeutic intervention with Warrior Surf. And then in 2019, I left Warrior Surf and I met Kristen Litchfield, who's a amazing female surfer. And we collaborated, and we started in April of 2019, we started Waves4Women. So so it's a 501c3 nonprofit. We work with women at this point, ages 18 and over. And it's really, our target population is women who've experienced trauma and just other life stressors. So there's really we try to be really inclusive. I think sometimes when we say trauma, people automatically think of, combat, or they think of sexual assault and domestic violence. So that's certainly included in trauma. But when we're looking at kind of who we incorporate, it could be somebody who's dealing with loss, and so it could be grief issues. It could be loss, meaning the loss of a job, the loss of a relationship, financial stressors. It could be major depressive disorder or anxiety symptoms. It could just like be the stressors of like being a woman and a mom and children and, just kind of daily life stressors. And so what we do is we have these small clinics of like between 6 to 8 women. And then we meet for about 2.5 hours, typically on a Saturday morning down at Folly Beach. And we introduce—
Folly Beach is in Charleston, South Carolina. Those of you who are not in Charleston, we go all over the United States and Canada. We have readers. So Erin and I both live in Charleston. That's how I know her. But we will be bringing you local heroes from all over. Folly Beach is beautiful. If you ever get down here, we'd love to show it to you. So you guys go down to Folly Beach on Saturday mornings.
Yeah, we go to Folly Beach, we meet, part of what we're doing is trying to build community. So helping women have a place that's safe, that they feel comfortable, where they can come out and be around other women. And we sit down, we kind of introduce a wellness topic. So that could be, what are my strengths? How do I utilize my strengths? mindset. So like, what kinds of things do I say to myself, and how can I change that? How does that affect me? What I say, what I tell myself, and how can I kind of shift that?
These are all topics that we cover on Peaceful Living Wellness too. This is one of the reasons that I love what you guys do, because myself, my writing staff, we are so engrossed in writing about and in our coaching practices, helping people with what you guys are doing on the beach, which I love. Tell us a little bit about the women you're working with. So you guys are sharing on the beach, and are they all different ages? Are they from all different backgrounds?
We do get a variety. I mean, we reach out to ages 18 and over. I want to say, we've at this point had, so we reach out to the colleges so we can kind of capture that demographic. We have a lot of women that come out that are probably like in their 30s and 40s. We also have women that come out 50s. We've had some that are like early 60s. Most of the women that come out are not surfers, so they're not coming. Yeah, it's nice, because that's really what we're doing, is we're giving people the opportunity to learn something new and challenging and kind of get out of their comfort zone.
Healing.
Yeah, which is, in a way that feels safe, and that feels protected. So, and that experience tends to build or rebuild people's confidence. So it's, surfing may not be something that they want to spend, the next 5 or 10 years of their life, focusing on. But I think what we've noticed, and when I worked with Warrior Surf Foundation, what we noticed is that if you can get people to break back out of their comfort zone and they do something they didn't think that they could do, then that kind of opens the doors for a whole, like, so much more. And that's really, I think, what's key is transitioning that experience, so what they learn from that experience, into their daily life. So like, how do I take this experience on the beach, and like, how do I pull that into the rest of my life?
So really having everyday application to transform how they're going through their daily lives. Is that?
Yes. I mean, I think that's for me, that's really the key. We kind of look at it as like an experiential learning. And so it's really this idea of, when you expose people to a situation that's safe and protected, but that there's also healthy risk involved, and like challenge, and there's, you're mastering something, or you're learning something. That enhances self-confidence. And then you want to take that and like play that out, or pull that back into, your family life, or your relationships, or your job, or, whatever else is important to them. And so we really spend a lot of time trying to identify how does this experience and what I'm learning from it, how does that transfer to the rest of my life?
I think
that's the key piece. Yeah.
I was wondering if you would expand a little bit more on the adventure therapy, this idea of being outdoors. When you and I talked previously, I told you how as a somatic and yoga therapist, it is so important for me to add an outdoor element with my clients. And there's something about this 3-day effect of being in the outdoors. There's something about being outdoors that allows people to really heal from trauma. So it's not just great for those of us who are struggling with everyday stressors, but it can actually help heal trauma. Could you give us a little bit more of the background of that? Because I actually don't know the therapeutic background of it, and I would love to know as well.
Yeah, well, so I think, I worked for a long time in more traditional office settings, and there's certainly that's certainly an important component of helping people deal from dealing with trauma and anxiety and stress, as well as
kind of space of those 4 walls.
Yeah. And so, and what I noticed is a little bit different with the outdoor based programs, is that when you put somebody outdoors, I think that their defenses tend to come down a little bit. We, typically when we're doing something experiential like surfing, or if you're rock climbing, kind of whatever that is, people start to really as opposed to having this kind of tension that might go along with, I'm driving to the therapist's office, I'm going to sit and sit in the waiting room, I'm here for my mental health appointment.
Yeah.
And then you kind of sit down and you might be across from someone, and there can be kind of this just kind of a challenge in establishing comfort in talking about. And so we know that with trauma, helping people process and talk about what they went through, both like with your body and verbally, is important. And I think that being outdoors and doing something active, it really helps people like on a physiological level, as well as on like an emotional level, just kind of open up a little bit quicker, just feel a little bit more comfortable. I think a lot of times, we'll be teaching a skill and people will get very focused on kind of what they're doing in that moment, which is mindfulness, which is important, and that's, beneficial and therapeutic.
Yeah.
And then they may, and then they'll experience emotional responses to kind of what's happening in that environment as they're learning. And at the same time, they also, I've just noticed people will start to disclose and talk, and it kind of establishes this comfort level a little bit quicker. And I think that
as a whole too.
In a group, yes.
This is awesome, because sometimes people are so reticent in groups, they hold things back.
Yes. So I think there's something about like and typically when we're there, we're in a location, we're there at a time of day, it's in the morning, where it's quieter, it's kind of peaceful, serene, we're outdoors, it's beautiful. So I think there's the environment itself is calming, kind of creates that sense. Yeah. Yes.
Calming.
So I think it's just the environment itself is very conducive to feeling comfortable, and just which allows people to feel, I think, safe and secure enough to, at their own kind of comfort level, start to share. And when we're working, we're not necessarily, and I think for most experiential or adventure-based programs, we're not necessarily asking people to disclose intimate details of their past, of their traumas or their experiences.
Okay, that's an important thing to know.
Yes. So typically we're not. We're really focusing on helping people build on the existing resources they have, remember what those resources are, those like internal strengths they have, utilizing them, and then kind of processing in the moment, what different emotions that come up in the context of a safe place where you're also building relationships.
I love that. I love that you're talking about relationships in a safe space. As a stress management specialist, I know from all of my research that having relationships, being in social connection, is the number one thing we can do for ourselves to reduce our stress. So let's talk a little bit more about the people. What is it about the people that you work with that inspired you to create this organization?
I think something that I've noticed for working with women and working with men, but for individuals who have gone through stressful life experiences, and that can, be a wide range of experiences, is that something in them, something has enabled them to survive what they went through and to continue functioning, and we'll kind of, for some people, their levels of functioning are different, right? But
yeah, sure.
But they've been through something challenging. And I think sometimes in traditional, in traditional psychotherapy, at times, there's kind of this medical model background where we might really, really focus on the negatives. So like what's not working for you, what's holding you back, and that has its place. I think sometimes what we don't get the chance to focus on with people is what helped you, what enabled you to get through this, and what kept you going. And so we know those strengths are there, and we want to help them like identify that and then just build on that
and access them, right?
Yeah.
I love that. And you are able to then help people take those skills and remember what they are, know what they've done in the past with them, and as we talked about previously, apply those in their daily lives now. so
Yes.
that they're able to say, this is me. I did this in the past and I can do it now.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that like the empowerment piece of like, you're not coming to me for me to fix you, you're coming and you're bringing all these strengths and these skills with you. We're going to help you kind of uncover those and remember, like, just kind of help you reapply those in the areas that are important to you. And then you're just building on that. So
Yeah.
I think that's really key. And so we know that like if people, even if they feel like they're not functioning at the level that they would like to be functioning, they still have survived really challenging experiences. So that means they've got skill sets and they've got strengths.
Yeah. They can then remember and then build on.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So what is your strongest desire for your organization over like the next 3 to 5 years, like your short-term goals?
Yeah, I think I know for us, we would like to be able to reach a broader population of women. So, as we kind of grow, I think at this point we serve, we'll run from maybe April, so we're in about, I guess, 8 months of the year. And we might do one clinic, we might do, 1 day a week. I think for us, one thing we'd really like to do is be able to reach out to women from a wide range of backgrounds. So that would mean people from all socioeconomic levels, and to be able to reach a more diverse group of women. So a lot of times when certain sports, you look at surfing or kind of ocean-based sports, you may not see a lot of like women of color. And so I think making sure we're reaching out to just to be as inclusive as we can, and to really identify what those logistical barriers are that get in the way. So kind of addressing that. So what I would like for us to be able to do is to be able to grow the program, to be able to offer it more frequently throughout the year. Ideally, at some point, we didn't run any clinics this past winter because we didn't have wetsuits. Wetsuits cost money. So,
the ocean gets cold. Even
the ocean gets cold.
Yeah.
Even in
Not in
Charleston.
Hawaii.
We're a member of an organization called the International Surf Therapy Organization. So that's a collaboration of, it's a thing. It's so there's
awesome thing.
There's like, I think right now there's around 40 or so organizations around the world that are using surfing as a therapeutic intervention for different populations. And so, and we'll connect and we'll collaborate and we kind of share resources. And so the programs in Australia, a lot of times, I'm watching them and they're out, and they're doing it all the time, kind of, or Hawaii, kind of based on the weather. But getting back to the point, so I think I'd love for us to be able to operate year round. I'd love for us to be able to hit, a wider range of women to be able to have the funds that we could provide services to women that are not able to pay anything. And I think for us also just to be able to continue collaborating with other women's organizations.
Nice, yeah.
Both in the Charleston area and otherwise. I think what's important for us is when someone comes out to our program, there are certain things that we don't provide. So we're not on call 24/7. We don't, it's not psychiatric care. So there's not medication, there's not case management. So what I really, really envision for us is to be able to develop partnership with organizations that do provide some of these services and be able to like refer people as needed.
I love that.
So I really think like building almost like a women's wellness initiative or collective where, someone reaches out and maybe surfing isn't their thing, but maybe they want to do equine, or maybe they want to do boxing, or maybe they want to just, go to a traditional therapy office, but for us to be able to all kind of work together to find the right space for them.
And, we have all of those here in Charleston.
Yes.
And with telehealth now, as a coach, I work with women all over the country because I don't have to work within state boundaries because it's not a licensure issue. And all of the coaches that are contributors to Peaceful Living Wellness, from our nutrition coaches to our fitness coaches, believe it or not, work with people all over the country because we can do what we're doing right now. We can use
that's amazing.
So how can people both here in Charleston as well as in other places help support your organization?
Well, so we always accept donations. So we have a website, which is www.waves4women.org.
And that will be in the show notes, so to
Oh,
speak.
thank you. Thank you.
This will
Yeah.
be on YouTube, so it'll be in the YouTube notes.
Thank you. Yeah, so we always accept donations, and really at this, that allows us, again, like, to be able to reach out to and serve, individuals who do not have the financial resources to pay for the program. We also, and that also allows us to be able to maybe run a program year round. So that's one way. We also, as a newer organization, again, I was involved with therapeutic surfing, from 2015 on, but since as Waves4Women started last April, we always, anyone who has an interest in assisting with nonprofits and, kind of helping with marketing or social media, that's kind of that these days. So we have, social media ambassadors, so people who are willing to share our social media on their website just to reach out to other individuals as well. I always love if there's anybody who knows about resources, and they can be local resources or even nationwide resources. I think it's important for us to stay updated on what's out there, so that when someone comes to us and they have needs that we can't meet, that we can let them know what else is out there.
That's a really nice thought. Yeah, because again, with Peaceful Living Wellness, you're going to have readers, we're going to have watchers, viewers. I just reverted to the fourth grade. From all over the US and Canada. And so if people know of resources that Waves4Women can refer to in your area, you guys can start creating a list of those things as well.
Yeah. Well, and the other piece of, for people that are living in other communities, so that, again, the International Surf Therapy Organization, they have a website.
We'll put that in the show notes.
Because they should be able to get on and see. Now, obviously this is more coastal communities, but there are a number of programs that are running, across the US. I'm not positive what might be in Canada, but there are a number of programs. And
there's actually a big surf community in Vancouver,
oh, great.
British Columbia, Canada. Yeah.
So there, and the other, yeah, and I'll highlight. So there's another program also that's in Australia that we're trying to kind of do a little bit of here, which works. It's really just promoting mental health awareness through surfing. It's for men, women, children. So there's an amazing program in Australia called One Wave. And so it's one wave is all it takes. And they provide, so anybody can start, if they have access to a beach, they can start a local, they call it Fluoro, as in neon, Fluoro Friday. And it's fun. It's the idea is taking something that's invisible, mental health, and making it visible. And so they'll actually dress in fluoro and neon and surf. Yeah. And so, but what I think is neat about it is you can get on their website. They'll share kind of how they started, and really that's just meeting at a beach. Providing a safe space. It's peer led. It's not a clinician running it. Giving people a place where they just can kind of build community and have a place to check in. And, most places surf, some places just grab a coffee, some will go swim, some will do yoga. It doesn't have to be coastal, because and what's great about them is they share all that. So they kind of, you can reach out to them and you can download from their website, I want to run this here. And then kind of figure out, how does that fit? And the founder will actually do a phone call with you and talk about, like, how might that fit for your community?
Even if you're in the middle of Kansas.
Which I think is, that's really important though. So it's, you can still do something to achieve like those same benefits. It just is going to look a little bit differently if I'm back home in St. Louis, Missouri versus if I'm here.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, Erin from SCWaves4Women, thank you so much for sharing your story with us, for sharing your passion with us, and for, I think that was a special bonus, for sharing some of these international organizations that can help us if we want to become involved in helping people with this kind of surf or outdoor trauma therapy.
Yeah.
If you know of, viewers, a wonderful local heroes organization in your area, please reach out to me, Jennifer at peacefullivingwellness.com, or hop on the website and just use our contact page at www.peacefullivingwellness.com. And I would love to feature an organization or a person in your area. We're looking for people from all over. So thank you again, Erin, for joining us. And thank you, everybody, for watching us. And you can see a transcript of this conversation, actually an article written from this conversation on peacefullivingwellness.com. Have a great rest of your day, everybody, and take this peace with you.
Thank you.